Okay, my clock says it's 10:30, and I'm going to take that as gospel just because it's my clock. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the second edition of A Taste of Tai Chi, courtesy of Township of Montclair's Mill program. My name is Don Madsen. We've been doing this together for quite a long time, some of us, and I know that there are some new folks out there. So the best thing that I can tell you is don't try too hard. You know, if you make the attempt to learn everything as quickly as possible, two things occur to me. First, you're missing the whole idea. This is supposed to be relaxing. This is supposed to be generating good feelings within your body, things like that. And the second thing, it doesn't work anyway. If you try to learn everything you can as quickly as you can, you forget it just about as quickly as you mastered it. So take your time. Don't be in a rush. We're not going to judge anybody by how quickly they learn to do any of it. It's all strange and different than the things that you're used to doing. So my guess is that it's going to be a challenge for most people. It's a challenge for those of us who have been doing it a long time. The challenge is to keep everything correct and to be able to tell somebody else about it correctly as well. So that's why we're here. Tai Chi, or Tai Chi Chuan, is an ancient and honored Chinese martial arts system that in many cases is also used for relaxation, for the real feel-good kind of activity that you can do anywhere and everywhere. This is sort of the recent version of a class that's been being held in the Montclair Library for quite a number of years. I don't remember exactly how many, but quite a lot. Many of the people in the class will have been along for the ride at the library and are going to be familiar. The pity is that they can't serve as sort of alternate teachers by being next to you and letting you watch what they're doing. So you're going to have to rely on me. So we take things a little bit at a time to see, to let you do as much of it as is possible. Okay, couple of thoughts first. This program is rebroadcast on TV 34 in Montclair, but I don't know when. Okay, so maybe you can contact the administrators of the program about that. Also, when we do Tai Chi, a major part of it is meant to serve as a way for you to relax. And in this situation, in your home without any pressures, you could stop and have a cup of tea and I wouldn't know, and it's okay. So how we have to approach this, because of our isolation and because of the even the weather, is to do these Zoom meetings. I do get here before, and I am willing to stay after these meetings as long as the bandwidth is there and the administration doesn't care. So if you have any questions, prepare them and I'll deal with them later. Meanwhile, let's do some Tai Chi. The first thing that we're going to do is to get into what we call the Wuji position. It's how we start. So for the Wuji position, your head is upright. Your chin should be tucked toward your body. Your shoulders need to be relaxed and rounded forward. You're going to tuck your tailbone, bend your knees, and make sure that your feet are close together with all your toes pointed forward. That's the Wuji position. The first official thing we do after that is to bow in. It's an ancient tradition. I'm an ancient traditionalist, so we're going to do it this way. Your left hand becomes a willow palm. Your right hand becomes a fist. You're going to fold your left hand over the right fist, Keep your eyes up as you bow, and we're in business. It's just a way to um, demonstrate the respect between a teacher and his students. From here, we're going to do a few exercises. These exercises are meant to work on your ligaments, your tendons, your connective tissues, and they promote balance and solidarity of position and things like that. And keep in mind that you may or may not be able to do everything to your own satisfaction. Don't worry about it. It's okay. We do the best we can with the tools we got and don't apologize for it. Okay? So, first exercise, you're going to put all your weight on your left-hand side and pick up the right heel just a little bit. Check your balance. If it's okay, go to a tiptoe and check your balance again. If your balance is still okay, pick up the knee, move the foot over and touch the toe. Lower the heel, push the heel out to straighten your foot, then center your weight and sink. You want to feel nice and solid. So the first exercise is called swinging arms. So you're going to use your hips to turn your body to the right, then to the left, and repeat. Your arms are just kind of floating around. You're not going to control them at all. And take a peek over your shoulder in the direction you're turning. It will help you to turn a little bit better. Your weight should be halfway between your toes and your heels on the place that we call the bubbling well. That's a focus point, and every time you put your weight on one foot or the other, or both of them, your weight needs to be on that bubbling well. I want you to think about that bubbling well all the time. Okay, back to the Wuji position. We'll do some double knee circles. Keep your body upright as you lower your body to find your knees. Then we're going to do 15 rotations in each direction. Keep your feet flat on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, if your knees are tired after you do that, you need to do more of them. The quadricep muscle group gets a little fatigued, and you just need to condition it a little bit. Next up, tiger stretches. Your feet go out wider than your shoulders. You're going to sink. Bend your knees, tuck your tailbone, round your shoulders, all that stuff. Your hands can either be on your hips or out in front, whichever you please. So you're going to shift your weight onto the right side and sink. Pick up your left toes, turn them out. Shift your weight onto the left side, sink again. Shift back, turn the toes front. Shift left and sink. Pick up the toes, turn the toes out. Shift right, sink again. Shift and pivot, shift and sink. Toes up, toes out, shift and sink. Shift and pivot, shift and sink. Toes up, toes out, shift and sink. Shift and pivot, shift and sink. Toes up, toes out, shift and sink. Shift, pivot, stand up and stop. That one can be very helpful in strengthening your legs. And you might want to experiment by putting your feet a little bit farther away after you get the hang of doing it. It's a good exercise. Next, we're going to do my favorite stretch. It's called Touch the Earth and Hold the Sky. Your feet can be about shoulder width apart. That's perfectly fine. This has 6 steps. Number 1, bend the knees. Lightly interlace your fingers out in front of your body. 2, turn the palms up. Push enthusiastically toward the ceiling. 3, bring the right hand down and push toward the floor while your other hand pushes toward the ceiling. 4, top hand down, palms down, fingers forward. Push back with your wrists. That's 5. 6, relax. 1, 2, 3, go up on the front half of your feet and stay there. 4, push down with your left palm, push up with your right. 5, top hand down, point your fingers forward, lift the fingertips, push back. 6, ease down. 1, 2, 3, and hold it. Right push, pushing back, down. 1 more. 1, 2, 3. Left push, pushing back, and down. My favorite stretch. Finally, we're going to do 2 minutes of horse stance. Nice wide stance again. Nice tail tuck and knee bend. Scratching your nose is optional. Hands out in front. Relax your shoulders. Let your elbows be droopy. Now we have 2 minutes of uninterrupted relaxation. That's 1 minute. Thirty seconds. Fifteen seconds. And hands down. Relax. If you want to grab a little water or something, now is the time to do it. You got 30 seconds. Okay, last week we started with the first 3 postures. preparation, initiation, and grasping the bird's tail to the right. We're going to do those again and move on to the next three as well. Keep in mind that the way to learn this is not by trying to learn the whole thing at once. Doesn't work. What I would suggest is to pick on one posture at a time, maybe two, if you're feeling particularly good about it, okay? But really learning the whole choreography is very difficult. And if you learn the small bits and pieces and stick them together, you're going to do way better. So let's take a look at the first three postures again. First thing we do, of course, is get into the Wu Ji position. Wu Ji means nothingness. It is a stance without polarity, a stance without reference points. It's the way to begin. What we're going to do is to put our weight on our left side and sink our weight onto the bubbling well on our left foot as you pick up the heel on the right foot. Check your balance. If the balance is okay, go to a tiptoe with your right foot. And I do mean a full tiptoe. The tip of your big toe should be touching the floor, not most of the foot. Okay? Tiptoe. Check your balance again. If that's working okay, pick up the knee while you keep the toes pointed down, move the foot over, and then touch the floor. You're safe because you're touching with both feet and your left foot is fully engaged with the floor. So now lower the heel. Lower the heel until it's maybe an inch off the floor or something like that. Then push the heel out to straighten the foot. Because what we want is to have all your toes pointed in the same direction. Okay? We don't want your feet to be pointing out in different directions. Okay? So let's do that again. Preparation in 2 steps. 1, tiptoe. 2, step out, lower the heel, push the heel, center your weight, and sink. When you hear the word sink, everything moves toward the floor, physically and mentally. Let's do that one more time and smooth it out. Preparation in 2 steps. 1, 2. Now you should feel like you're very, very solidly placed. You should feel like if somebody came up and pushed you, you would be hard to move. Okay? Okay, at the end of the first posture, which is preparation, comes initiation. It's got 4 steps. Number 1, you're going to sink a little more and rise your arms up to about shoulder level. 2, sink the elbows to bring your hands a little bit closer, not too much. 3, get the fingers up out of the way and push forward with the heels of your hands. 4, turn the palms toward the floor. Push down to hip level as you straighten your body again. Then relax your hands. Let's look at number 2 again. You'll notice there's some synchronization. As my arms are going up, my body is moving toward the floor. Everything that we do in Tai Chi is synchronized to a big degree. I'm not sure it's really synchronization. Maybe it's syncopation, because things don't always happen at the same time, but there's a little lag and a little lead going on sometimes. You just need to figure it out and figure out how it's supposed to feel. Then it gets easier. So what we did was to sink by bending our knees as we raise the arms up to the level of our shoulders. When you do that, they're nice and relaxed. You're not bringing up a rigid arm and a fist or anything. You're just coming up slowly. What you're really doing is using the forearm to deflect incoming strike attempts by an opponent. Okay, you're just blocking them up this way. Okay, so as you sink your body, your arms float up gently to the level of your shoulders. Next, maintaining your body position, just bend your elbows to bring your hands a little bit closer to you. Not too far. See, I didn't bring them in all the way to my body, just a little bit. 5 or 6 inches is plenty. Then number 3, you're going to, as you move your fingers up, the heel of your hand is going forward. Going forward. What you're doing is striking with the bottom part of your hand. Boom. Okay. And then for number 4, we're pushing down. You're going to turn the palms toward the floor because you can't push that way unless your palms are pointing down. And as you push toward the floor, your body is going to rise and your palms are going to relax. Okay, what you're doing for that whole sequence, you're blocking up the arms of somebody who is reaching to choke you. Then you're grabbing their forearms and you're pulling them down as you stand up. They're going to want to pull away, so you let go and you can push. Okay. Pulling them down here is as far as we go on this one. But the rest of it is interesting. We'll do that in another posture. So let's do those first 2 again. Preparation. Initiation. Okay, pretty easy so far. Now comes the first real buster of the bunch, grasping the bird's tail. Shift your weight left, embrace ball. Step out right. Remember to step toward the corner, not just sideways. As you shift your weight, push down with your left palm. Bring the right forearm up in a blocking position. Forward, drop the elbow, turn away, turn the hands over, come back. 5 is the drag. Shift to the left and sink. Use your waist to turn your hands. 6, shift your weight and release. 7, prepare to press. Turn your right palm toward your body. Bring the left high over the top. When the wrists line up, put them together. 8, pick up your left toes. Turn everything. Bring the toes along. Turn your hands so they point up each other's arm. Extend and separate. Grab the top of your local swimming pool ladder and shift your weight and sink. Slide your hands down that ladder all the way to hip level. Turn the palms up. Raise your hands up to the level of your shoulders. Shift your weight forward. Point your fingers up. Continue shifting your weight to push. Okay, that's the first 3 that we worked on last week. We're going to extend to the next 3 and see what we got. Okay. The next one is called single flip. So we're in this position. Oh, let me remind you about your bow and arrow stance. When you get into the finishing stages of a posture, this is how your feet are supposed to be. Your front foot is forward and directly forward, not off to the side a little bit, but directly forward. And your weight should be 70% on that front leg. The back foot should be out to the side. It's not behind the front foot. It's out to the side, about the width of your hip bones. And the toes should be pointed out about 45 degrees. So when we finish this, because we remember we stepped over toward the corner and then we turned, so we've got our bow and arrow stance in position. Okay, next up is single whip. So from this position, you're going to shift your weight back onto the left side and sink. Wipe all the way around. Now take your right hand and bring it back here and form a hook while your left hand goes to your opposite hip. Now step to the corner with your left foot. As you shift your weight, bring your left hand up in front of your face. Pick up your right toes. Turn your body, leave your hook where it is. Turn your hand so that the edge of your hand faces forward and push. Notice I'm not extending my left hand very much because the edge of my hand is the tool here. The edge of my hand is the striking platform. Let's do that again. Okay. So from the end of grasping the bird's tail, shift and wipe. Your hands stay about shoulder high when you do the wipe. Now, bring your right hand back into a hook, and you're going to shift your weight right as you do that and bring your left foot into a T-step. Step to the corner. As you shift your weight, your left hand is in front of your face. Guard the face. Pick up your back toes. As you turn away, bring your left hand in close to the left shoulder. Then turn the hand so that the edge of the hand is in front and push forward. Let's smooth that one out. By the way, as I said before, the way to learn these is to pick on one posture at a time and then worry about the transitions. The transitions are, I want to say, as hard as the postures themselves, because they're what enable you to do the next posture, and they require exactitude also. So let's smooth this out. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you say we do the first 3 that we learned already and tack that one on top, okay? Okay, Wuji position. Preparation. Initiation. Grasping the bird's tail to the right. Single whip. Okay, how'd you like that? I'm sure you have questions. There's a few ways to get those answered. Let me remind you about the website, donmadson.blogspot.com. That's Don Madson as one word, a dot, blogspot as one word.com will get you there. I'm told I even ended up on YouTube somehow. I'm not sure how that happened. I didn't know I was there, but somebody told me this morning that I had the form on YouTube. No idea who put it there. I didn't. I don't know how to do that. So you can answer your questions by going to the website and digging around the menu. Just a reminder, we even have 2 videos of this form, the form that we're practicing, one from the rear and one from the front. Now, the way to do that, to utilize that, is not to try to copy the entire choreography that is presented. Pick one posture and go back and forth between you and the video and you and the video a bunch of times until you're comfortable with it. Then try to connect with maybe the next one. Okay. If that doesn't work out for you, I think there's a link on the website that will let you email me from there. And if that doesn't work, you can email directly. I think my email is all over the internet. It's don.madsen@gmail.com. don.madsen@gmail.com. Okay, so if you got any questions, don't hesitate. I love questions. I love being able to take care of somebody's curiosity or any problems that they have with what we're doing. Okay, so we just learned about single whip. Let's do it again. We ended up at the finishing portion of grasping the bird's tail to the right. Let's review. Look at your feet. Your front foot is pointing forward. Your weight is 70% over that foot. In other words, your weight should be on the bubble and well. Remember that? Okay. Here's a cue. If you look down and you can see your toes, you're fine. If your knee is in the way, you went too far. Okay. Your other foot is behind and separated about hip width apart. The toes are pointed out at about a 45-degree angle. Okay, because your weight is 70% front, you're in a pushing situation. Notice that my arms are not straight. They're not rigid. The elbow is always going to be droopy. Tell you why in a little bit. So, shift back onto the left side and sink. Turn nose, belly button, and toes. Hands stay at about shoulder high. Shift your weight back to the right side while you make a hook. Make a T-step and bring your left hand to the right hip. Now step toward the corner. As you shift your weight left, bring your left hand up to guard your face. Pick up the right toes. Turn nose, belly button, and toes as you bring your left hand in close to your left shoulder. Now turn the edge of your left hand forward and push. Okay? How'd that work? Nothing is going to be simple. It's not supposed to be. Okay, the next thing we do is called wave hands like clouds. This one, I think, is particularly confusing because it's very subtle. There's a lot of things going on both sides of your body, and all of them are synchronized or syncopated. So let's see what happens. So we did this business. We're stuck in this position. You're going to shift your weight back onto the right side and sink. That brings your left toes off the ground. You're going to use your entire body to sweep your left hand toward the floor right in front of your body. Looks like this, nice and slow, but time out, let me tell you about that. What you're doing is a self-defense posture. All of these things are self-defense postures. As self-defense, they require a serious amount of focus. Okay, when you're protecting yourself, trying to survive a blow, you're going to do that with every ounce of your body and your mind, right? To simplify stuff, I use the term purposeful movement quite a lot. Everything that you do has a reason for its being done. So everything that you do deserves your full attention. Okay, focus all the time. Nothing is a casual movement. So when we're getting ready to do this business, you're using every ounce of your energy, mental, physical, and emotional, to do that sweep. Because what you did was to protect yourself against somebody who is kicking at you. You're using the palm to connect with that lower leg and foot and push it out of the way so it doesn't reach its target. Capiche? Shake your heads up and down. Okay. I can't see you, you know. Okay, so let's do that again. We ended up like this. So shift and sink, then nose, belly button, and toes as you sweep. Your hand ends up right in front of your groin. Your other hand is up here like you're warding off somebody from this position. Now, shift your weight back to the left as you push up with your left palm and push your right palm down in front of your right thigh. Turn your body to the left. Push forward with your left hand as your right hand goes over by your other hip with the palm facing up. Now pick up the heel on your right foot. Step out. Shift your weight onto the right side. Push up with your right palm. Left hand goes down in front of your left thigh. Turn nose, belly button, and toes. Push with your right palm. Left hand goes to the hip. Bring the left foot in just a little bit. Shift left as you shift your left hand up. Right hand down. Turn the body. Push with your left hand. Right hand goes to the left hip with the palm facing up. Told you it was subtle and difficult. Okay, let's see what that really looks like. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A lot of stuff going on there. Okay, let's look at it again. From the end of the single whip. So what you're doing, you're going to shift all the way back onto the bubbling well on your right foot, and the same time you're picking up your left toes. That lets you pivot and turn correctly. Time out. Let's get on a sidebar for a minute. When you turn, and we did discuss this last week a little bit, you have two options. You're going to pivot either on your heel or on your toes. If you leave the foot planted on the floor and you try to turn, there is a possibility that you could hurt a joint, a hip joint, a knee joint, an ankle joint. You could hurt yourself. So most of the time we pivot on our heel, but a couple of times we do it on the toes. It's your job to know which one goes where and when. It's choreography, just another detail to have to deal with. So your lower body is shifting and turning, shifting and turning, just like we did with the exercise earlier on, okay? Our tiger stretches. Okay, so at the end of the single whip, retreat, pivot and sweep. Now shift the weight, hands change positions up and down. Okay, what's going on there is you're blocking an incoming strike. Okay. Uh, by the way, for those of you who could not care less about the martial content of what we're doing, that's fine. You don't have to be a fan of the fighting stuff, but it is where it came from. And it does require the same kind of mental attitude that would be used under those circumstances. So I refer to it a lot. It also tends to give people an idea of why you might be doing something. Okay. So what we did was shift and pivot. Shifting the hands up and down, you're blocking an incoming punch. Now what you did, you blocked it with this part of your arm, so you're going to guide that punch. Okay, you turn the body away as you turn your hands. Then you have the option to strike to the opponent's face. Clever, huh? Then, shifting the weight again, we do the same thing. Turn away and strike. We pull the foot just to give us a little bit more horsepower, because moving the mass of our body along with the turning of our body gives it that much more horsepower. So shift, turn, and strike. How about that? Next thing we do is called brush, knee, and push. Looks like this. Not much to it, huh? Really not. But again, it's shifting your weight in a very energetic and efficient manner, using the turning of your body to generate energy, and then using that final movement with the hand or the foot to manifest that energy at the expense of whoever you're targeting. Let's move this away a little bit from the martial content and kind of give you the idea of how it relaxes you. Believe it or not, although we talk about being relaxed and not having any real tension going on, inevitably there's going to be a little bit of tension, because I tell you that you have to be moving purposefully all the time. So just having to think about doing something on purpose is going to create that little bit of tension. But here's the hook. By practicing and focusing very, very carefully on the thing that you're doing, you obliterate all those other things that you've been thinking about. The price of broccoli at the shop, right? Or the fact that your car is stuck in a snowbank, or you just stubbed your toe, whatever. You're not thinking about those while you're worrying so much about what your body is doing while you're doing Tai Chi. So it eliminates that kind of thing very, very nicely. Okay, so back to brush, knee, and push. We ended up okay, like that. Okay, so first you're going to shift your weight forward on the left side. I like to reposition my right foot a little more behind myself. Because remember, the next thing we're going to do is to step toward the corner. So I'm going to shift my weight back onto the right side and sink. Bring my hands up here all the way, turning my right palm up, bringing my left hand adjacent to my right elbow, and I'm going to pull my foot into a T-step position. Now I'm going to step out toward the corner. This is called a sit step, S-I-T. Then I'm going to move sideways. I'm going to lead with my left shoulder as I bring my left hand down, bring my right hand close to my right ear. So now I'm in a position where I've shifted my weight all the way on the left. My left hand is in front of my left thigh. My weight is 70% on my left foot. We're going to turn, so I have to pick up my toes. We're going to pivot on the heel, correct? So as we turn, I'm going to sweep my left hand across my thigh, push forward with my right palm, relax my left hand so the palm is facing down, kind of like what happens when you rest your hand on the back of the couch. Brush, knee, and push. What we did was to use this hand to block somebody's arm or leg out of the way. And then we're going to come around and strike with this other hand after we've got them pushed out of the way. Very cool stuff, I think. Okay. Let's see, we got about 15 more minutes. Okay, let's work on the second three that we started today, and see if we can put those together as a kind of a grouping. So we started at the end of grasping the bird's tail. So single whip, nice and slow, please. Turn the toes. Wave hands like clouds. Single brush knee and push. Okay. Did that feel like Tai Chi yet? You'll be better. Let's talk a little bit about a few of the aphorisms or sayings that go along with Tai Chi. One of them that I like says, the hands follow the eyes. What's that mean? What it means that before your hands get into play or your feet get into play, you're going to know where you're going. You're going to identify targets. You're going to be able to know exactly what you have to do in order to put your hands in a particular place. A great example is brush knee and push. So we've finished wave hands like clouds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look back where my hands are going to go. Then I'm going to look to where they're going to go next. That does a couple of things for you. First, it orients you within the space. Basically, this Tai Chi form moves back and forth along a line. Okay, I stay in this line this way pretty much. I don't go wandering off into the corners of the room. So what I want to do is to know where my body is supposed to go and keep it within those confines. Okay, I could draw a couple of parallel lines and I would ideally stay within those lines all the time. The other thing that it does, if you look at something, that means you're concentrating on it. I don't just mean glancing in the general direction, but looking at it with the capital LOOK. Okay. What that does for you is to increase your energy referent to that particular place. Okay, so if I identify the target, my hand is going to generate much more energy when it gets to that target. And make no mistake, you influence your physical energy by using your mind. You absolutely do. If you concentrate on something, it's just going to work better. No question about it. Okay, let's do those three again. From the end of grasping the bird's tail. Single whip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave hands like clouds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Rush me and push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How'd you like that? Okay. Talking about your feet again. Yeah, we do that a lot because the footwork is the basis of being able to do the stuff with your hands. We are, in most cases, mature individuals. Some mature individuals will have difficulties with ankles, knees, hips, ribs, shoulders, all kinds of body parts that don't work like they did decades ago. What you have to remember is that there is no grade for being able to do anything physical at any level. You do the best you can with the tools you got and don't apologize. What I mean, if you're uncomfortable stepping out this far, only step out this far. When you bend your knees, you want to feel comfortable. When you relax your shoulders, that should add to the comfort level. Don't try to do things that are not functional for you. A great many of the people in my classes are of a certain age. I have to keep reminding everybody all the time, don't try too hard. Really. Because if you do, you get frustrated and mad at it and you quit because you didn't have a good time. We want you to have a good time doing Tai Chi. And I take it very personally, as all of my students from the years past will tell you, I really want you to have a good time when I'm working with you. Okay, it says here that we've got 7 or 8 minutes to go. Let's go all the way back to the first and go through the 6 postures that we've practiced over the last 2 sessions. And we'll do it 2 or 3 times. Slow. I want you to do it slow enough so that you have time to feel what's going on and determine whether or not you got it correct or not. Okay? Believe it or not, the slower you do it, the faster you learn it. Okay? Doesn't seem like ought to be the case, but it really, really is. So slowly, please. Mudra positions. Your head is upright, your chin is tucked toward your body, your shoulders are relaxed and rounded forward. Tuck your tailbone, bend your knees. Make sure your feet are close together with all your toes pointed in the right direction. That direction is forward. Preparation. 1, 2. Initiation. 1, 2, 3, 4. Grasping the bird's tail right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, turn the toes, 8, 9, 10. Single whip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave hands like clouds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Brush knee and push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is anybody out there getting a little more comfortable with this yet? I hope so. Okay. Let's do it again and slow it down even more. Uji. Preparation. Initiation. Grasping the bird's tail. Turn the toes. Single whip. Wave hands like clouds. 7, 8, 9. Brush knee and push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I do not assign homework. I would suggest that if you want to try to absorb this a little more, go hit my webpage and try to follow along with one or two of the postures on the site, or maybe just try to do one or two of the first moves that we did during the class. I want to end the class with what I call the grand finale. We're going to do the entire form, the whole thing. You're not going to recognize stuff in the back half of it, but I do this to kind of sensitize you to what's coming down the road. Okay. Remember what I said. There is no grade. There is no way for me to suggest that you're doing good, better, or indifferently in respect to anybody else. So you just do the best you can with the tools you got and don't apologize for it. Wuji position, please. We're going to do the whole Megillah. And begin. Okay, that's our 12th posture taste of Tai Chi form. I'll stick around after we're done as long as anybody has any questions for me. I'll be happy to answer them. Meanwhile, we got to bow out. So back to your Wuji position. Your left hand's a willow palm, your right hand's a fist. Left foot is forward in a point step. Fold your left hand over the right fist. Keep your eyes up as you bow. We're done. Thanks for your time, everybody.
Thanks, Don.
Feel halfway decent about it.
Thank you, Don. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Thank you, Don. Great class.
Thank you. If you see any of the admins, tell them thanks for all of it.
Okay. Ciao.
Who's got a question out there? Anybody?
Can you post your website address on the chat, maybe next class, if not now?
No, but I'll give it to you. Got a pencil?
Yes, what's the last word?
Sure.
I know it's Dan Mapson.
Don Madsen, that's all one word,
Yes.
dot blogspot, blogspot.
Okay.
That's also one word, .com.
Thank you. Somebody posted it. Thank you.
Lewis did. Hi, Lewis.
Hi, Don. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Okay. Very happy we moved from a house to an apartment with all this snow.
So am I. I'm looking out my window now, and between the trees and stuff, it looks like there's a couple of feet of drifted snow in every direction.
Yep. Well, stay warm, stay safe,